Hey guys, it's Nancy Ann and Ruger. Today, I just thought I'd do a catch-up video with you. It has been a while since I have recorded regularly due to a family medical emergency. A lot of you know about that, a lot of you don't. I thought I would bring you all up to date in this video. I'm going to try and be as transparent and as off the cuff as possible. I've got a few questions from you guys that you said you would like answered, and also one fashion question. We'll cover that first, so let's get into this. Well, welcome to my channel. I really appreciate you being here, and I'm sure Ruger does too. He just is very quiet about the way that he appreciates my viewers. Well, the very first question that I got from a viewer was, how do you style cuffed jeans? Now, this is by Nancy, and this is a tough one for me to answer, to be honest with you. I mean, I know how I would style them, but I don't really buy cuffed jeans. Most of the time, the kind that they're showing now are cropped, and cropped is not the best look on me. So I'm gonna show you what I would do if I had a pair of cropped cuff jeans. Now, if the cuff jeans were not cropped, if they were long, I would pretty much wear any other type of shoes I would wear with non-cuffed jeans. I have long legs. I know Nancy is tall too, and we don't really need to worry about that cuff at the bottom because we don't have to worry about our legs getting cut short. We kind of have some leg to spare a little bit, if you will. But I went ahead and put on these. These are fabulous Cabi jeans. I got them from my friend Lisa, who is a really terrific Cabi stylist. I will try and put her information down below if you would like to get in contact with her. I saw these jeans, this is before our lives fell apart, and I told her I have to have these. They were in the summer collection. They're a medium weight. They're supposed to be a loose fit. However, on us girls that have a little more through the thighs and the hips, a loose fit is really, really a blessing. It gives you some more room down here. And they fit me a little bit more like a regular jean, but I'm fine with that because they're not skin tight, and I love that. So there's the jeans from the back, just in case you'd like to see them. So I'm seeing these types of jeans wore two different ways, mostly with flats and then also with sandals, like a little bit of a heel. And she did also mention kitten heels and athletic shoes. You know what? If that aesthetic works for you, go for it. I'm not going to show these with athletic shoes because on me it would look silly, but some people can really pull that look off. One thing I will say is that flat shoes on us gals with bigger feet, they tend to make our feet look bigger, really, with a crop jean, and I'll show you what I mean. These are a little bit more in style. They're the rounded toe. So when you put, now these are black and that helps, but when you put a big foot in a flat shoe, it stretches your whole foot across the most acreage possible on the ground, which I think combined with the line here, the vertical line created above the ankle by the jeans, it just points the whole thing out that the foot is big. But this is a look that they are showing, especially the Mary Jane style flats that have a strap across the top of the foot there. So this is one thing you can do. Now, what I like better is a heel, and part of it is because of my foot size at size 11, because a heel kind of brings the distance that your foot goes in, makes it shorter. It covers less acreage on the ground. So you can see this shoe is longer than this shoe, just by a little bit. But man, that little bit makes a big difference when you're trying to make your feet look not quite so gargantuan. So let me slip these on and we'll see how these look. So here we are with the heeled sandal. I like this a lot better. I just think it's a more balanced look for me. Instead of the straight line of the bottom of the jeans with the straight line of the shoes, now the lines are mixed, breaks it up a little bit, makes my foot look a little bit smaller, and I just feel a lot more classy and less awkward in this style. But that's a preference. Either one of these are in style with the cropped jeans right now. And I think you know, depending on or cuffed jeans, depending on the style of top that you're wearing with them, the style of pants, I'm sure a kitten heel would work just fine, would look absolutely adorable. There are so many things that are in style right now. just kind of do you. You know, get the in style piece of clothing you like and then combine it with whatever's in your closet that you also like. And you'll look your best if you're just confident, regardless of what you're wearing. I think this is a really cute look and very good for going into fall. These sandals, by the way, came from Amazon. My friend Tina at Tina's Best Midlife reviewed these on her channel. She said she loves them. She's been wearing them a lot. They're comfortable. They were exactly what I was looking for. And so I went ahead and I ordered them too. And I will leave a link down there for these for you if you'd like to take a look. Wide range of sizes on these. So here's what it looks like when the jeans are uncuffed. And I love these shoes. I've been wearing them with almost everything this summer, staying down in Lexington with my daughter as she recovers from a stroke, which we'll talk about in a little bit. These have really kind of been my go-tos. So here they are up close. All right, we'll come in just a second. I'll pull it in close, and then we'll talk about the other updates I'd like to share with you. Well, now for the catching up portion of this video. I'm going to really be doing this off the cuff and kind of as I go in. I'm going to try and do it all in one take because I want to be as genuine with you as I can. Before I answer the questions that a couple of people asked, this has been a rough year. I know most of my viewers know that. I'm assuming almost everybody who's watching this are my regular and most loyal viewers. I really appreciate you guys so much for all of your patience lately. This has been a really hard year. It started out right before the new year, around Christmas time. Sam and I got COVID. I got very sick with that. I sort of got well mostly just in time for Christmas, then we kind of staggered through the holiday. 2024 was supposed to be my year to kind of get caught up on things, take a deep breath, not maybe travel as much, and just take care of myself. It started off with hearing that my mother had fallen and broken her leg in California at work. She was 78 years old at the time that it happened. A lot of things happened because of that. Ultimately, it wound up being having to sell her mobile home, move her into assisted living. There was a lot of confusion between my brother, sister, and I because I'm so far away and just the division of how things worked, and we had a lot of confusion and there was a lot of stress with that. In the meantime, while that was going on, BJ had surgery. Sam and I both got influenza A, got very, very sick. Sam got pneumonia before the influenza A, never quite recovered it, got the influenza A, and while BJ was recovering from surgery here at the house, I noticed Sam was having a lot of problems breathing. It was very much worrying me. And I was supposed to be taking calls for my mom, and I really kind of fell down on the job on that. I didn't mean to. I just only had so much that I could handle. So there was some fallout from that. It was emotionally distressing in addition to being just physically exhausting to me because I was so worried about so much. So got well in time to take a long planned trip to Nashville with my best friend. That's only the second best friend trip that we have taken in 32 years of friendship. It was a little bit stressful because of the things going on at home and arrangements that were being made for everybody to get back home and help mom with the whole moving process, as well as moving my aunt, her sister, into the same facility with her from another facility that had been absolutely terrible. That's another thing that was going on. I was in touch with a senior care advisor because I didn't like the treatment that my aunt was receiving, and I wanted to see what she could do and what she did. And I'll always be really grateful to Samantha as she befriended my aunt and she got her moved into the same facility that my mom was going. So that was a big blessing, but it was also another source of stress and something that was worrying me at the exact same time. So I went out really to help my aunt move in and see mom in her new facility and make sure she was okay. It was a whole lot of emotions, and the whole time I'm worried because I know that Sam just isn't breathing well enough, and I didn't feel like I should be away from home, but I also felt like I needed to be out there just at least doing something to help my siblings. And Sam understood, thank goodness, because he was really in a position to say, no, please don't leave. So I got home the very beginning of April, and Sam just kept getting worse. He wound up going to the VA hospital in Indianapolis. They thought it might be a pulmonary embolism. It was bad. They were very, very concerned. So they went in, they did emergency surgery. They removed as many of the clots that the clot had broken up as they possibly could. He was in the hospital for 4 days, I believe, and I almost lost him. Not an exaggeration. Almost lost him. That was a terrifying time. Don't think either one of us would recommend a pulmonary embolism to anyone. He was on blood thinners. Really, I should have, he's for the first 6 months, and I needed to stay near him. But on June 13th, I was actually recording a Stitch Fix for you guys when a call came in, and my daughter was in the emergency room down in Lexington, Kentucky, where she lives. She's a single gal, 33 years old. And she was what did they say? Disoriented and confused, I think is what they said. Well, that didn't sound very good, so I went upstairs and said to Sam, get some stuff, we're leaving, we're going to Lexington, Kentucky. I was pulling into the hospital garage, got a call from the surgeon. They were going in for surgery right away. They finally found what the problem is. They had been looking at stuff all day, couldn't figure it out. She'd had a stroke, and they needed to get in and remove the clot. So I didn't even get a chance to see her before she went in. She was already knocked out by that point. It was really bugging me. My daughter went into surgery without any family around, although she did know we were coming. And I didn't know where the ward was, and that's a huge hospital. It is UK Medical Center down in Lexington. Excellent facility. I had no idea where my daughter was in that big facility. I was running through the hospital trying to get there. I was sitting in the waiting room alone, and her sister, my daughter Lane, who lives up here, also decided she was going to drive down. And she walked in as I was consulting with the surgeon. The clot cleared itself before they could get in there and remove it. They took some pictures. They made the incision in her groin to go up through the artery to remove it. And by the time they took the pictures, the clot had cleared itself, which is really good. So she had the major stroke, and she had mini strokes, and this was all caused by self-adjusting her neck. So if you crack your neck to put it back into alignment, or if a chiropractor does it, please stop now. Don't ever do that again. It doesn't happen super often, but it does happen, and there's a reason that chiropractors have you sign a waiver. And she knew as soon as she did it this time that something was wrong. They did check her to see if there were any other factors that could have possibly caused the stroke. There's not. It was just a one-off. It will never happen again. She knows not to do that again. She'd done it hundreds of times before in her life, and it never bothered anything. But it is a real risk. It is a real risk to your life. Because she's younger, she looks like she's going to recover most of the way. But her hearing, we think, is completely gone in her right ear permanently. God can create miracles. There's some talk of some type of hearing aid in the future. Not sure how that will work, both regarding insurance and just her, because one option is to just live with it. Had they got on it in the hospital when she first noticed it and given her steroids, it could have been reversed. This could have never happened. The ear inside itself is fine. It's just not talking to the brain. But they were so busy putting out other fires with her, she literally couldn't get out of the bed. She couldn't move. Her whole left side would barely raise. She never had the stroke where the side of her head was drawn, but she had extreme weakness. She was extremely emotional. The stroke affected the area of the body that affects things like your facial movement, your speech, your emotions, and then her left side could barely move at all. It was terrifying as a mom to see that. She normally is pretty good at being in control of her emotions, and she was not. So she was in the hospital for 5 days. They had said she would probably make a full recovery, and I was very doubtful, seeing how bad she was. Her sister canceled a mission trip overseas because of that and stuck around for a few days and helped us, and I'll always be grateful to Lane that she did that. So I've been living down there ever since then because well, obviously she needed some help. After the hospital, she went to Cardinal Hill Rehabilitation Center down there for 2 weeks. She stayed there for 13 days. Originally, they said they thought it would be 4 to 6 weeks. Then they said 2 to 3, and she came in just under 2. She really was progressing very, very quickly. Her speech was coming back. I mean, at first she was in a wheelchair, then a walker, and then, you know, she really did well, and she worked hard to get better too. But her age really worked to her advantage on this. They said younger bodies just heal from this kind of thing quicker. I know this is a long story. So I was there while she was in Cardinal Hill. I wasn't going to go home because I didn't want her to be down there alone after this. She still wasn't all the way healed, so I wanted to go and visit her every day. But it also turned out that when I wasn't helping her, I was busy doing something else, either on the phone or going places to see about getting things in place for her. I finally got her home. She can't drive still. Her license was medically suspended. She really couldn't have driven. She didn't have a good enough reaction time at first. And she lost my train of thought there for a second. That's common with all the stuff that's been going on. I know where I was. As time went on, she just kept getting stronger and stronger. She does live on a second-story apartment. I was really stressing to them that she has to be able to make it up and down 16 steps. She was able to. At first, she used a walker. Walker's gone now. She's pretty much functioning fully on her own. Also have been taking her to OT and PT twice a week, other doctor's appointments. She's just needed me there. Have been worried about Sam up here by himself because he really could have used me here. I'm the only person in the family apparently fluid enough to be able to help. This whole year hasn't been about me, but this whole year has needed me. And when you get to the point where everybody around you is sort of falling apart, you feel like, I don't know, again, I'm going to try and be transparent. I have this irrational thought occasionally that if people weren't associated with me, they might be okay. And I know that's not right. I know it's not right, but crazy things enter your head. So at this point, she could live alone and she could drive. She hasn't been cleared to drive. Sam has swapped me places. He did this once before, stay with her and just give me a chance to come home. I came home for 5 days about a month ago. And then this time I'm home for about a week, getting some things done. I have doctor's appointments and all sorts of things, doing a little recording for you guys. I'm going to see BJ. That's going to be great. And see my little granddaughter. And then next week, Sam and Alex will be arriving with little Walker. We're going to spend about another week together all here and celebrate BJ's birthday. A lot of things got canceled this summer. I was supposed to get the oldest grandsons for 2 weeks. That didn't happen. Sam and I were going to go on a little vacation together. That didn't happen. I mean, all sorts of stuff has been canceled. And I've been telling Sam, this feels like the lost year. We don't know exactly when I'm going to be able to get home. Next Tuesday, Sam's going to take her to a doctor's appointment where the doctor will determine if she's ready to go back to work. I think he will say she is at least part-time. Wouldn't be surprised if he says full-time. And then also driving, there's been a holdup I won't tell you about, but the DMV, I'll tell you that one thing. Typical DMV, it just seems like the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing, and every time we would talk to people, we get a different answer on timing for how things need to be done, and now we've heard that the timing was done all wrong, and it could hold things up another 20 business days. So we're trying to talk different ways that we can make it so that she can stay home and then I can go home and she can still get her stuff done and get to work and stuff like that. So it's been tricky. We did start a GoFundMe. We have closed that down. I want to thank everyone who donated to that. I put it on my channel. I really choked before I did that, before I mentioned it. A couple of you wrote and asked me to please give you the link. Several of my viewers have donated. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much that helped. We didn't wind up needing it for medical expenses like we thought we would because she was accepted for Medicaid. She had only been at her job for 3 weeks. She needed to be there 3 months before she could apply for medical, and so she was not eligible yet. So Medicaid covered all the medical, but we had all these living expenses to cover. So between what the parents have donated and helped with, and then what we got in GoFundMe, We actually have enough to get her through until the end of September. By then, I think she'll be back to work. And I've learned that God just has a way of working these things out. But we didn't feel right about asking for any more money since what we were able to do was going to sustain her for so long. But a really sincere thank you from Sam and I for everybody who did that. It really, really kind of saved our bacon. But also my daughter Alex wanted me to express to you how grateful she is for the generosity of all the people who donated. We just really very much appreciate you. So that's kind of a catch up on me. I could be not living at home for another month or so. We don't know. I have a lot of things down here I'm behind on. There was stuff I was going to get done this year that because all of this stuff kept happening ever since January 1st, I have not been able to get done and get it caught up on. I'm going to have to do that towards the end of the year. Of course, the holidays are approaching. Almost all the birthdays of us and our 14 descendants, all but 3, occur between October 3rd and January 10th. So the planning is nuts combined with the holidays. I have already told the director of the cantata I've been singing in for the last 3 years, and I wouldn't be that big a deal, but often they give me a solo to sing in that, and it's a big production. But I told him I'm probably not going to be singing this year because something's just got to go. So I don't know what recording is going to look like moving forward. But if I'm not recording, trust me, it's because I'm getting things done that simply have to be done and haven't been able to. And I'm really praying that God just makes this the end of the medical stuff. Oh, and this guy, he had a growth on his tummy that was about this big, probably a little bigger than a quarter. It was bright red. It was raised, it was palpable, it was kind of soft, and the hair came off. It didn't go down on its own. I made an appointment. They couldn't get him in until a couple months later. I think it was in July. And then they went ahead and they did a draw to try to see if they could draw some fluid out, because it looked like it was filled with fluid, and see get a look at the cells. And the cells looked like they were malignant, malignant. They look like cancer cells. I mean, they hadn't done a biopsy, but that's what they thought. Scheduled an appointment for a surgery. Sam was supposed to take him in. Several days before the surgery, Sam starts texting me, that spot's going away. So he called them. They said, go ahead and bring him in on surgery day. We had the labs done for the surgery and everything ahead of time. Brought him in. By the time they got there, they said, we can't get in there to take a biopsy if there's nothing to take it from. It had gone completely away. We don't know why. I don't know if he has cancer lurking around somewhere in his body. We're just going to take it as a miracle. Maybe it was a hot spot that got real bad, but it was so big and smooth. I don't know. If anybody's heard of anything like that, would you please tell me? And it got that big because it was on his belly, and he's not a dog who normally lays out flat. He always curls up. So I'm sure it had been there for quite a while before I saw it. So thank goodness our dude was spared. He's 10 now. Is he 10? Yeah, I think he's 10. We don't know how much longer we're going to have him. That also was another thing added, and I'm just really grateful that on top of everything else, I didn't lose my dog. That would have been awful. Okay, I'm going to get to a couple of questions. I think I've kind of answered some of them with everything I explained. The first question came in from Donna. She had several. How's your daughter doing? So Donna, I hope that answered your question satisfactorily as to how my daughter is doing. She said, is she still making good progress in her therapies? Yes, she is, to the point where when I took her on Tuesday for the Thursday therapy. What day of the week is that? Hang on. Her last therapy, they said that she probably won't need PT more than a couple more weeks, and OT might go on a little bit longer, but she's doing really good. I'm absolutely stunned. After as bad as she was, I thought she was going to be permanently disabled. Now, the hearing, she probably is, but yeah, she's doing excellent with her therapies. How am I doing? Well, I think I kind of explained that a little bit. This has been emotionally very, very hard. And I think I'll answer that a little bit more when I get into Nancy's questions here in a minute. But all things considered, I think I've done really well through this whole thing, and I'm holding up pretty good. I probably will need some counseling after this, to be honest with you. Your hubby, he seems to be recovering really well. He's trying really hard to make better choices with his food and things. And he's a stoic, strong guy. And even if he's feeling very emotional, he doesn't show it outwardly. But he's also very good at compartmentalizing and putting things in the best possible light. He's an optimist. So I think overall, he's probably doing better than any of us, to be honest with you. Your fur baby, I explained about him. He's very happy to have Mama home, by the way. When I came in yesterday, he was super excited. So then Nancy asked, most importantly, how have you been doing? You've been through a lot in the past months being a super mom and super wife. Now, thank you, Nancy. Some days I'm not a super mom. I fall apart, to be honest with you. And then she's the one who asked the question about the cuff jeans. So how am I doing? It seems to be. You know what, guys? This has been really rough. I kind of fear a little bit my daughter Alex is going to watch this, although I don't think any of this will surprise her because she's been living with me in very close quarters. I have been a nervous wreck, quite frankly, for the last over 2 months, because I'm always worried about someone somewhere. And I know I shouldn't worry. And I know God created all the people involved. I'm sorry, I'm going to sound a little preachy. It's just the way I think, and it's been my comfort. He created everybody involved, and he's got this. But I'm a mom, and I'm a wife. So I had BJ up here, and I've been the only consistent in BJ's life his whole life. I have not seen him in a month in person, and I hadn't seen him for about a month before that. So that's been a stress, worrying about BJ and how often he's been seen. We did finally get it so that my husband was able to get him at least once a week, and he's had him spend the night a few times. But I have been worrying about someone somewhere the whole time. I am going to try and seek counseling as soon as I come back. I have a really good counselor here. I haven't seen her in a couple of years, but I need to talk to her again because oh, hello, we'll speak of the devil. I need to work through some of the emotion that I've been going through. I haven't reacted well all the time. In the moment, in the crisis, I was great. But once things started relaxing a little and I started kind of wrapping my head around what had happened, I didn't always react real well. So if you're in the middle of crisis and you're not handling it real well, you're not alone. I need to talk to someone and see if I could work through ways to handle chronic stress better without falling apart for the poor people around me. But all in all, I think I've done pretty good. I've done some things to help myself, and I'm proud of myself for that. One thing I did was I joined a gym there. I got a temporary gym membership. I've been going 3 days a week. That has been really important, really good for me, and it's been nice being back in a gym that gets me around some people. I have been making it a point to keep up on my quiet time in the mornings. I read my Bible, I do a devotion. So I've kept up on that. I also started attending a church down there. I've also signed up for a 4-week intensive class. It's a class that talks about how to deal with emotions, which is, I was just talking about, I have a hard time doing that when things get very, very stressful. And that will start on September 8th. And I think I might be there through the end of September, so I'll be able to see that class through. And if not, I will have the book and be able to do that study on my own. So that's kind of the update on us. Again, I want to thank everyone so much for your support, your prayers, your encouraging comments. All of it has been taken to heart, and I've really leaned on it and kind of thrived on it. And fed on it in a very positive manner. You guys are the best. I'm sorry this turned into the Alex channel for a little bit. I honestly was just coveting prayer and coveting encouragement, and you guys came through in spades. The private emails that I got just encouraging me. Thank you all so much. You've just been the very best. I have talked long enough. I hope that you had a beverage to sip on during this video, and if you stayed till the end, let me know down below, because wow, I really appreciate you. All right, I think that is it. I am going to finally let you guys go. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, and be blessed. Okay, the camera's on. You ready? I see you're good and ready. Okay, let's go.